Thank you, Olga. God, you all know me so well. Okay. So I'm going to very quickly repeat this. We've started by drawing a line halfway down the face on the source and then finding the halfway point, the quarter points. Drawing a line across the width of the face so that we can see how wide his face is compared to how long he is. And from top to bottom, if you compare this line to this one, it's a little bit, this line is about as wide as 3/4 of the vertical line. Then I went in and I drew the vertical line and I held my arm straight so I could check my angle, make sure I had my angle right. And I made this vertical line just whatever size I wanted it to be. I can be kind of random about it. I have an idea about how much I want to fill the page. And if I like, I know he's kind of cut off a little bit. You'll see if I went too far here and it doesn't kind of fit with my edge, I can just bring my edge in or out a little bit.
I have a question, Leah. On that right edge, in the original, there's like a piece of wood or trunk, but it's not in your picture.
Yeah, I could only, I'm having a couple of problems with my computer. I often print a close-up. So,
but it's okay to leave it in?
You can leave it in if you want to. Yeah, absolutely.
It might help if it does not fit properly.
Yeah, that's true. So you can use that but make sure you use it in proportion with everything else. That's actually great. Oh, little guy. So that's where we are. And now, more importantly, I'm going to establish this line. 1, 2, 3. It looks like this line is about 1/3. It looks like this face is about 1/3 here and 2/3 here. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check my measurement here. So I know that this line, this width, is a little bit more than 3/4 up this line. So now I have my width here like this. And I'm going to mark the beginning here. I think I need to mark the beginning out a little bit further. Do that again. I'm going to try and get it to line up. Oh, I see. Right. Yes. It's more like, let's see what happens if I try to line it up here. So here is my beginning. I've tried to line up my end here. We'll see how well that goes. I might have to move it a little bit. I'm going to. So this kind of cross, this cross, I can see it's still hard to see. There we go. Okay. So now I'm going to check and see if indeed, yep, this needs, so this is not exactly 1/3. It's more like, this is not 1/3. So I need to scoot it a little bit this way. So I need to bring it a little bit this way, bring this a little bit forward. So you see how I just moved my line? I'm going to double check it again to make sure I didn't lose. Yep, that's about right. And then 1, 2, 3. Yep. Now that's 2. Now that's 3. That's 2/3 on this side and 1/3 on this side. So now I know I'm going to bring my line up to here. Fantastic line this morning, Leah. I can still see it's tricky to, still playing with the lights. So you saw me kind of fiddle with this line and then finally bring this up to here. So here are my correct proportions so that now I can get my, my envelope of my little red panda in. So let me take a picture of this before I destroy it completely. I have the capacity to print this out again. So here, hold on. Oh, you guys are really the best. I just wanted to tell you that. You're great.
You're sitting on my drawing. He's sitting on my drawing and complaining.
And who is that?
Rabbit.
Oh, the birthday boy.
Yes.
Meow. Oh.
Oh.
There we are. Okay, I'm going to pull off this second spotlight until we need it again. I think it'll be easier to see. There we go.
Leah, the height is 2/3, right? Of a width.
The height is 3/4, a little bit more than 3/4 of the width. Sorry, the width is 3/4 of the height. This is smaller than this.
Oh, because you're not just including the face.
Yeah, I'm doing the whole thing. Yep. Yes, if you were just doing the face, yes, the face would be a little bit longer than wider, but I'm just doing the whole body. Sorry, that's a little hard to see here. But
just
you can
that
see
the bottom body, you can cut it off wherever.
Well, but I don't want to do that until I've got my proportions in. So we're working with what we can see. So I want you guys when you make decisions like that, you really screw up your ability to be able to proportionally guess where things are. So you either need to make that decision and do it on your paper and then draw this like this. Don't try to follow what I'm saying if you've cut off part of this. That won't work, right? And then you'll be like, why doesn't it work? And I'm like, because you did not use the right proportion, because you're not following the proportions that I'm using. You're not looking at the same thing I'm looking at. So just for the sake of practice, I want you, if you're going to make that decision, you have to do your own measurements. You can't follow mine. You really have to do that. And they're here. I've got them here right now. So you've got them on the WhatsApp. And then we're going to start, as you can see, I can just sketch in my little red panda shaped envelope. So we know that everything is within there. Here, see that? Hey. Hermes had a little scare this week. A dog kind of cornered him in his catio outside. One of my neighbor's dogs. Ooh. So he was protected from the dog, but terrified of the dog. Absolutely terrified of the dog. The dog was running around and around the catio. He'd gotten out of my neighbor's backyard and was, and somehow had gotten through our gate.
That's dangerous,
Yes, I know. It really pissed me off. And at first we thought the dog had bit him through the chicken wire because he had a cut on his face. But we took him to the vet and the vet was like, nope, this does not look like a dog bite. This looks like he scratched himself on the chicken wire. So anyway, I know it was really sad. It was really sad. Anyway, so now he is, yeah.
This is a catio where in the middle of a yard, he doesn't have access back into the house.
Yes, exactly. So he could not get away. It wasn't great. We're rethinking all of that now that this has happened. But so now he can't go outside because he's on antibiotics and can't go outside. So he's just longingly looking outside like he really wants to go outside. Although for the first day, he just slept for 24 hours. He was exhausted. Oh, I know.
But at least he'll be scared of dogs, I suppose.
I think it's a good thing. Yeah. Now we have to, of course, rethink how we how we let him out and how that works. And he's definitely how'd
the dog get in?
I guess our gate was open. So we have a gate we have renters that stay in our house. So people are always leaving the gate open. Yeah. And Winston's kind of an asshole. He's a husky. Diana guessed it. She's like, is he a husky? I'm like, yes. He's just he's like, he's not a terrible dog, but he was, you know, he's kind of a jerk. he gets out. He's an escape artist. Let's put it that way. All right.
Yeah, so did you leave some space on the right side? Because I did it like on, you know, on the photo, so it just on the right side of my paper. And I see that you kind of put him more in the middle, right?
Nope. What do you mean? Here?
Because there is still a white space like after.
Yes, this is not the painting. This is not the painting. This is the
Okay.
end of the painting is right here. Yeah.
Okay.
And actually what I did was this is the end of this is an 8x10. This is 10 inches across, right? I like to work in standard sizes. And what I noticed is as I brought this in, this didn't work. I had this out a little bit too far. So I had to move my end of my painting to here. So
Okay.
border your painting. Feel free to move the end of your painting. Good question. Thank you for asking that. We're going like this. Yep. So our next shapes are kind of up. I'll take a picture of this so you guys can see it really well. Let's see. I'm going to say yes, Diane. I haven't even seen it yet. Yes, yes. And the glazing worked perfectly.
Mm-hmm. The glazing was a good tip.
It often just, you know, as we're working areas closely, it often helps just to, you know, we exaggerate the darks and lights, which is good. And then you just need to push them back. And glazes like help push them back. I think they're adorable. I love it. I don't know if you guys have seen it. Maybe you can do a panda.
Yeah.
Yes.
You think the tree works at that as it is too?
Yes, it's beautiful. I love it. It's very colorful and appealing.
You can tell.
Yeah.
It has tree texture.
Yes, you did a nice job with that.
You did a fantastic job with the hands as well. I had trouble with the hands.
Yeah, the hands were hard.
Yeah, she struggled a lot with the hands. She spent a lot of time with the hands.
You know, they have prehensile thumbs, and I had a friend who had one in the house and he got into all sorts of mischief.
A red panda?
Oh, sorry, no.
I'm talking raccoons. About raccoons. Yes, yes, those little guys. Oh my God, what a...
I mean, he would open drawers and stuff like that.
Right.
He would steal. He liked pocket money and he stuffed it in the mattress. He made a hole in. He went through people's pockets. I mean, you know.
Little bandit.
And they say
his name was
are
Bandit,
not like
actually.
humans, yeah?
Right. All right, so here's a slightly tricky, well, yeah, actually, I think this can work. Watch this corner. It can be kind of confusing as you're getting your ear in here. Use this edge. So don't go farther. Here, I'm just going to get rid of this so we can't see it. That'll make it easier. There we go. Here's the edge. Yes. That is... little, well, you know, they look like little bandits.
Yes. Because of a mask. They have like these sorrow
They
masks.
look like these little bandits. That's what they are. That's their energy. Little cutie, little. I mean, you have to admire
They're very brazen as well, you know.
Yes. And I think it's the prehensile thumb thing. They don't need us. You know, other animals need us because they don't have that.
I once heard a racket on my flat roof and I went to look for a window. And I saw this raccoon eating a squirrel carcass. It was completely flattened, so it had been run over by a car.
Oh my God.
And I looked at him and I expected him to look at me and flee, but instead he came right up to the window and looked at me.
He was like, what the heck? You know, they are also curious, like any creature are very curious. I was thinking, for some reason, I know this isn't related, but it's making me think of the elephants at the Portland, Oregon Zoo. It was a big, the zoo spent a lot of money really widening, giving the elephants a much larger habitat. And while the work was going on. It took about 6 months. The elephants, every day when the workmen came, the elephants would come over and watch them. Like completely, like that's what the volunteers said. The elephants were really into the workmen because it was something interesting and exciting. And they would come over and they'd watch. What's going on here?
You know, I think zoo animals are really bored, and particularly now that no humans come.
Oh my God.
I saw this post on Facebook of a friend in Italy, in Rome. He went to the zoo and he said like an ape came to look at him for half an hour, and he showed him all these pictures, and this ape looked at the pictures and sat with him.
Poor guys. I know.
Ugh.
It's boring. I know.
It's boring, and now there's nothing for them to look at because there are no humans.
It is so many things we've lost. All right. So once you get this shape, and go ahead and send it over when you're ready. Here, wait, let me take a picture of it so you guys have it. As always, remember, it's pretty awkward, right? This is kind of an awkward shape.
It's super awkward.
Yes, because you know, this is half the face and this is the other half of the face. Once you get in, I'm gonna start really almost all painting is mostly drawing. I have since learned. I should probably think about lengthening this class to 2.5 hours. We'll see. Yeah. I think you guys are going to start getting faster at your drawing. So I'm now outlining the lights, the darks, the major light and dark shapes. I'd like to get in, I'm hoping to get in some practice on fur. What I found is that the drawing takes so long that sometimes we don't have time to talk about that as much. So if we don't I guess if we don't have enough time to do that this time, we'll have the option of going, actually, 1, 2. Actually, Rashmi, that looks pretty. I think over here, so over here, your ear is too small. The ear is like twice the size. Can you see that? I know you can't see all of the ear. So end this. So what you've done is this. I'll show you. You've done this. So you just need to erase that line and bring this out a little bit. Good job. Actually looks pretty good. Olga, you're doing too much. This is more flat. Really look at this negative space here. It doesn't go quite in as much as you've got it. And it also doesn't go up. It kind of goes more out.
Yeah, and I think the angle of the line is not right.
Yep.
Right. It should be
yeah, see, you did this. You did this. And really it's a straight line. And then look here at the shape of bring the ear in a little bit and down on this side. So look at your negative spaces as you're trying to create your shapes. Look at this shape more than you're looking at what you're actually drawing. So you're just at, so yes. Anyway, good, excellent. Yeah. It's always a good thing to pay attention to. All right, so I'm going to use this 1/4 point line up here to kind of help me here. Let me mark it in so you can really see it. To kind of help me see where my facial features are. I can see there's kind of this little white divot up here. And that, like, let's see, the nose is like 1, 2, is the nose halfway? Yep, the top of the nose is exactly halfway between the quarters. So I can find the halfway point of here. That's the top of the nose. But notice the nose doesn't go all the way down. It kind of comes to here, and then there's a dark area, and then the tongue comes up. Right, so I'm just kind of locating where things are. Let's see, one. I can see, and I can see that once I get this in, it's going to be easier. My eyes. So this is something you guys struggle with a lot. And I really want you to pay attention to relationships as you figure out where to put your eye. And when I say that, what I mean is I'm going to figure out what that relationship is. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, nope, you need to be a little bit bigger. Let me sketch it in and then I'll talk to you about what I know about this eye. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Interesting. 1, 2. I think this comes in more. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Aha. So this eye, and you'll notice I adjusted this a little bit in. I made it a little bit narrower. So if I take one eye and I go to here, it comes right to the halfway point. So the length here, this is one eye. The second eye goes to the other side of this littler eye. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. The third eye goes all the way to the edge. So 1, 2, 3 is where this edge of my eye is. The other eye, 2, 3, 4. And then the final edge should be, the final edge of the shape should be no farther than here. So you can see I adjusted in a little bit my face. So, and then 1, 2, 3. So it should be 1, 2, 3. So when you get this eye in, notice it's below the quarter line. It's big enough so that if you were to measure 1, 2, 3, it would go all the way to the end on one side. And if you measure 1, 2, 3, 4, so 1, 2, 3 on the other side is 3 eye lengths. It's complicated. I'm not saying, I won't lie. And notice how much smaller the other eye is because it's farther away from us. So this eye is more shaped, kind of curved on top and curved on the bottom. This one is kind of more rounder and it's smaller. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yep. So those are the, wow. That was quite the squeak.
Yeah, it's mine.
No! Who's that?
Murat.
Murat.
He has to go out. I'm going to let him out.
Okay. We are a slave to our animals.
Yep. Absolutely.
Notice the tongue has this light edge and then darker underneath, and it kind of disappears with the dark edge of the mouth. So I am still, as I'm moving down the face and getting those shapes in, I'm looking at where are these in relation to the line I drew, the diagonal, right? I'm looking at size. I see there's a dark part of the nose and a light part of the nose. There we go. A little bandit mask. So this is tricky, guys. I'm not expecting you. I mean, I want you to ask me for help as you're doing this. Do your best, and then I'll help you see kind of where your proportions are off. There's a lot of ways things could go awry. Let's put it that way.
Let's do that.
Yep. Oh, it's coming though. I try not to get overwhelmed by thinking too much about the whole thing. and thinking more about, yeah, just kind of the major dark and light shifts. Okay. And we're going to do, we are going to do a black and white painting, like underpainting today. And then you're going to glaze it with a color before we go with our top colors. So yes, so that's going to be really fun. I love that. Here, I'm going to take a picture of this. Let's see. Anya, that looks pretty good. I think, Anya, the ear on this side should be a little bigger.
Yeah, you're right. I already changed it a little
bit.
bit.
Great,
thanks.
Okay, great. Sorry, I'm like,
yeah, it's good.
Help
no,
you.
It's good.
Let me help you long after you've helped yourself. Here, let me jump in. It's like saying, do you need help moving that sofa once it's in the house? By the way, you guys, this is what Diana was working on. We did this in drawing on beginning drawing last week. It was a very fun sketch. And in fact, what should we do tomorrow for beginning drawing? Does anybody have thoughts? Had we decided? I forget.
I think Sandra gets to choose.
Yeah, Sandra, you get to choose.
Lucky day.
Yes, yes. So
I'll
Sandra,
think about it and send a picture.
Yeah, send some pictures across. You have great subjects. And I can feel myself getting stuck in my rut. So I'd love some suggestions that will get us out of that. I'm going to go get a little bit.
If anyone else has suggestions, please.
Right. Like Olga sent us this picture today. We're very
exactly.
open to.
What was the picture Olga sent?
This one. This red panda.
Oh, okay. Oh, that was Olga.
I sent in a Philippine eagle. But it's better to paint than draw, I think, because of all the feathers. Oh.
How's it going, everybody? It is okay for us to take our first hour on the drawing. I think that is totally valid.
If we mess that up, for us, it's going to be
right. Right. So it's good for us to spend this time struggling. And the more we struggle here, the easier the painting becomes. The more fun, I should say, the painting becomes.
Doing a green underpainting.
Oh, lovely. For this one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Oh my God. I need like a room, like a dedicated room for my studio. I do not have enough room. Sucks.
Let's see. Yes, that's the struggle.
That's the
Yeah, that's
problem with
difficult in New
apartments
York.
in New York. They're too expensive.
Yeah.
Yes, you
yeah.
should move to Washington. We have a lot of space here.
But I have the Met.
Annika, there's something wrong with these measurements.
Yeah, nice museum.
Yeah, but
There's
I have the
something
Met.
wrong with these measurements. This is not correct. Where is the end of your drawing? I can't see the bottom border of your drawing.
He became smaller than I intended from the beginning. So
Okay, so these are not in the correct place. Let us see. One, two, three, four. I need to see the bottom of your drawing. And what's happened is you've elongated his face. And because you don't have a bottom of your drawing, this needs to be a line that ends at the bottom of your drawing.
Yeah,
You've
I do have
extended
that,
it.
but I kept changing it because I was starting at one and then I thought, no, that's wrong. And then I kept changing it.
Okay, so you need to give yourself an end. So give yourself a line.
I left that because I made him bigger first and then smaller, and now the end is off.
Okay, so
but I think the proportions of him are still correct, but he's smaller.
No, I don't think so. But let me look. I'll look and see. One, two. Nope, they are not. So you've scrunched up his face too much because you're partly following this and you've already changed this, so this no longer works. You can't change this line and then expect these proportions to work. So
I kept remeasuring. I haven't just been doing that. But
okay. I'm looking at your proportions right now.
Yeah, I understand.
Yeah, 1, 2. So for example, if you just look at the face,
yeah,
1, 2, 3, that's like the third, and third thing. That's not what you have happening here. So let's see. Just trying to figure out how to, let's see, maybe it is. 1, 1. So if I go from here to here, 1 to 1. Okay, that one's not bad. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. All right, yeah, actually, you know what? You're all right. That'll work. That'll work. I see it. You're right. You're right.
I did screw up because I started making him bigger and I measured, but I kept measuring, so that's good.
Yeah, that's good. Good job. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good job, Emma. Great. Emma, he's too wide here on this side. 1, 2, 3. I feel 1. Well, actually, maybe not. This doesn't look right. This looks like this side looks too long. Let me check the.
It's the same issue, and I feel that I cut him too much.
Yes. So Emma, your bear. I'm going to try and show you on here so you can see. Damn it, I can't. Your bear need where your, okay, I'm going to show you where your bear actually ends so you can fix this side. You can do it without worrying about your 1, 2. So your bear ends about where you have, so you need to put the end of your, so your ear is sticking way out too far. You need to end your drawing where your ear is here and start and then draw the ear in again. Then it won't look so long on this side. So what you've done is this. Let me see if I can get this out. You've gone like this and then over like that. See, that's what's happening here for you. I can't really show it. You've done this. So your ear is over here, and Anya, you've probably done the same thing. So you need to bring your ear, you need to bring the line, this vertical line in until you're only 2/3. So 1, 2, yep, I think that's it. Yep, you just need to bring this line in and bring your ear closer to the left and the side of the face.
Leah, I noticed something.
Huh?
You know the line?
Yeah, Anya, you need to do the same thing.
Still? Because I tried to change it already, so is it still too white?
1.
I think
yeah, it's better. Should be better. You may still have to bring it in a little bit.
a little bit, okay.
Yeah,
thanks.
yeah, but not so much. Say that, tell me that again, Sandra. What were you saying?
You know, the line that goes from the chin to the line of the body, the dark line of the body under the face, it's almost perfectly vertical. And if you put your pencil against it, it crosses right through the eye and goes to the start of the ear. So that might
right
be
here?
one way.
Yeah, oh
no,
yeah, there you go.
No, not that line. No, the line, no, not that line either. The other line, vertical, no. The line that goes from the bottom of the body, under the chin, there's a, under the chin, there's a line.
Yep.
Where the fur is.
Right here.
Let me show you.
It's so hard to explain this stuff, isn't it?
Yes. See that, can you see that line there?
Here, hold on. I'm going to put you up on Spotlight. I'm going to add you as a Spotlight so we can see you. Okay, yes, point again.
So that line here, where the body is.
Yes.
If you run your pencil through it.
Yeah, it's almost completely vertical. Yes,
exactly
that's
vertical.
right.
And
yes, it doesn't.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah, you're right.
So that's very useful. Not that eye, the other eye, actually. Look on the photograph, not your painting.
I see. It doesn't go, in my case, it goes to the edge of the eye. It's lined up with the edge of the eye like this.
But
so
how
yeah,
can that be? We've got the same photograph.
This comes in like this a little
Don't look
bit.
at your drawing because it's not quite right. But
I'm looking at the photograph right here like this.
On the photograph, I thought it would be useful for us to notice that because.
Yeah, that's a great line. So notice I just moved my eye. So this vertical line lines up actually in my drawing, in this drawing here, it lines up with the left edge of the eye. So if I go straight up, that's a great relationship, Sandra. It's a wonderful one. So notice I can bring in his body a little bit more. And actually that looks right. Excellent. I see exactly. So see, here's where my old line was, and here's where my actual line is, because it's lined up with the edge of the eye. Excellent. Good, Sandra, that is very sophisticated measuring. I love it. Because that's how we start to get, right? We lay things down and then we make things too big or too small. So finding that extra measurement that like, okay, this is what's exactly above and below, right? Brilliant. Great, great, great correction.
And the eyes, I found also if you line up, sorry, the eyes, and I can see mine is wrong. Just a second. Sorry, I keep, as soon as I touch my iPad, it kind of moves away.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Oh, sorry. Sorry, apologies, guys. I've lost it.
No, don't worry. We've got it.
If you line up the eyes, sorry, guys. Yes, if you run a pencil through the eyes, then you see where it lands compared to the ear up here.
Exactly.
And that's very useful.
That's also really excellent. Sandra, A+.
Well, except my drawing is not like that. I'm realizing it's all wrong.
Well, right. So check that out. Yep. That's a great way. So I had a teacher once who said, check everything, if you're wondering about whether a thing is in the right position, do what Sandra did. Check in 3 different ways. Like, are my eyes in the right place, right? Are they in the right place? Is the pair of them in the right place? Does, you know, if I run a pencil up here, what is directly, where does the eye line, you know, run up to the left? Where does it run up to the right? That is exactly what you should, he said you should check it from 3 different points. And then you'll know it's right. And you'll notice some of these are extreme and a lot of these are like kind of tiny. They're sort of small shifts that make a big difference, right? You guys are doing good, by the way. Really good.
Oh.
Let's see. Oh, good job, Emma. Yep, you brought that in. Yep. Now I'm checking your other lines to see. So Emma, you can bring, like I did, you can bring this line in just a little bit. So when it goes straight up and you run your pencil next to it, it lines up with the left edge of the eye, but excellent correcting. Good job. Natalia, good. Looks pretty good. Let's see.
Suspense.
It looks to me,
yeah,
your measurements don't look right. Wait, where is your quarter point? Hold on. I can't tell what your, oh, I see it. I see it. This is a different thing. Okay, let me see. Don't mind me. I'm just checking this now. All right, so you can do the same thing. Well, actually, nope, yours looks pretty good. This line is good. Now I'm using Sandra's lines to check everything because she's absolutely right.
Mine all wrong.
Work. But Sandra,
that was very helpful, actually.
That realization, Sandra, is the thing. Oh, you know what? It looks good, Natalia. You're in good shape.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Sandra. That realization was the shift, was the important thing. Not that you got it right, but that you realized. Anik, I think this ear is bigger, but I don't know. Actually, I'm not going to argue that. This looks pretty good. Now I'm checking this. Yep, good. Good. Everybody, Sandra has checked their points against yours. That's great. All right,
true.
so if you're ready to start your painting, brilliant. Good job. Just miracle upon miracle today. All centered around Sandra. That's awesome.
I tell you, my drawing is not a miracle at all.
Well, but honestly, it's the understanding of it that's the key, right? It's not the getting it right. It's the understanding. Oh, what you just did is you gave us the key so that we can correct it. And that's awesome. All right, so let's get up here. Okay, so you have 2 choices. If you have black acrylic paint, you can get yourself some black paint and some white paint. If you do not, let's see, I'm going to put this up here. You can mix your black. I personally, and now I've just found out where all my colors, I have colors that keep disappearing on this new tabouret I have. I like to mix a black from burnt umber and ultramarine blue.
I don't have a plan for supper.
If you,
why don't we get a takeaway from that place on Connecticut?
Yeah, get enough for me. Takeaway. So I'm putting up this is ultramarine blue. I'm going to give myself some white.
It's the same as a lash bear.
Hey, Emma, you can't come to art class without bringing food, without buying some for everyone.
Sorry.
So what are we going to get? What do we get? So that's ultramarine blue. So if you have black, you can just use black. If you do not have black, how do I get here? How do I get in there? Oh, yes, I see. I do this. Hold on. There you are. My errant colors ran away. Here they are. I lost 4 colors down this little tabouret thing. I like the tabouret, but I haven't figured out how to use it effectively yet. Here. There we are. There's my burnt umber.
What's a tabouret?
It's like a little holder for your paints, you know, that with on wheels that rolls around.
Oh.
Somebody gave it to me and it's great, but I still haven't organized very well. All right, let's see. So here is burnt umber. So I'm actually mixing burnt umber and blue to get my dark. I'm going to be using my big brush again. Right, I'm using my big brush again, just for this part. As you notice, we're getting into smaller brushes, and then we're going to do a basic values study. So as always, I'm going to have you mix, create your black, either get it from the tube or mix it. And I'm going to have you, start by adding in your darks. I know the darkest area is all dark down here, so it'll help. So when we start with all this fur, we still start with a basic blocky, chunky values painting. You'll notice I'm moving kind of around the painting. Notice I didn't paint the whole nose dark. Notice that when I paint my tongue, it kind of disappears, my tongue, his tongue. It kind of disappears a little bit into the mouth, the dark of the mouth. So that's a kind of a lost edge. I know there's lots of white fur here, but right now we're focusing on getting the darkest color underneath, and it's the next layer. And I really hope to be able to have some time to help you practice different strokes you can use. Yeah, there we go. And then, of course, I'll be using white to create my grays by mixing that with my dark, with my black. So this is what they call a grayscale or a grisaille underpainting. That just means grayscale in French, I think. I shouldn't actually say, I don't really know.
That's correct, it's grisaille.
Grisaille.
Really? How do you spell it?
Grisaille.
Grisaille. Maybe.
Grisaille, sorry, grisaille. It's a grisaille painting, so it's a grayscale painting. I love the term grisaille. I think it's really neat. So, you know, I'm just painting, I'm taking my lights. And what's nice about a grisaille is that it does the block in for us, and then we can glaze in to get some more sort of texture with a different color and then go over the top. It's really great for creating fur. It's actually a wonderful, in general, a wonderful like painting base. It always works. You could do a grisaille for a face. You could do it for a cityscape. It's been a long time since I've done grisaille, but I was just thinking about it last night. Yeah, it'll look kind of weird like this right now. And then I'm going to do a kind of a medium.
But yours looks like a panda.
Yes, that's why you guys pay me the good money. If it didn't, I would be worried. Here we go. Because, but thank you for observing that, Diane. On a less silly note, it looks like a panda because I've got my shapes right and my lights and darks in, right? So I don't even have very much detail yet, but I don't need it because I already have my lights, my basic lights and darks. Here, wait, I could do more with my tongue here. In acrylic and oil painting, unlike watercolor, you can it actually helps you to go a little bit darker on your base and lay lighter colors on top. When we get to watercolor, of course, it'll be the opposite. Hey, Rashmi, I just want to tell you, I love the way you are talking about painting on social media. I had actually grabbed that picture that you had sent us of the coffee cup amongst all your flowers. First of all, I really wish I could just follow you around because your life looks really beautiful. Like you're surrounded by beautiful things all the time. And like you take the most beautiful pictures of them. But it's so funny. I was like going to post it on my Instagram. And then you posted the perfect Instagram photo that talks about artistic process. So I just want to tell you, I really appreciate how you are talking about this process. You're just really good at explaining it and breaking it down. I love it. Perspective, one stroke at a time. It's really wonderful. And I just want to tell you, I want to share everything that you do because you do it better than I do. Maybe I should hire you. To do mine. I might hire you to do the roaming studios. You think I'm kidding, but I am not. I don't really have time to do the roaming studios Instagram the way I would like to. Are all of you following it? I think most of you are. Yeah. I will post you from time to time, and I like to be able to tag you. So you should follow that, and you should follow me, and I'll follow you. You know, we follow each other.
Well, yeah, I don't know where anything in my studio is either since I did the reorg.
So did you reorg it trying to make it better?
Oh, it's much better. It's like 1,000% better. I just can't find things I don't use very often. So I understand about your tab array.
Yes, I'm just like, well, you know, it's just a timing. It's just a time thing. It just
it's
arrived.
Well organized. I just forget where I put crap because, you know, when you put something away, then you never know where it is. In theory.
Yeah, I'm sending you my drawing.
Let's see. I can't wait to see.
It's sideways, which is why it's completely different angle. I thought, how the hell is it facing the other direction?
Right. Okay, hold on. I'm looking.
Let me fix that because that's confusing.
Got it. It looks in pretty good shape. And instantly, 1, 2.
But it doesn't look like a panda, does it?
It does. It does. It does. I'm just looking to see. I think it looks in pretty good shape, actually, my friend.
Okay, good.
I've got it. It looks exactly the way it should. And these lineups that you've got, really, really nice. Yep, you're good.
Thank you.
It might be the best draw. I mean, honestly, those decisions about the drawing were wonderful and so helpful. So, and I hope you really get, this is it. Like, as long as you can do that, so check every angle. So if you're looking at something that doesn't look right, check it against other things that you've established and you know are true. So we start with this vertical line, right? Because this we have established as our base point. And then we use this vertical line, right? This one right here to establish everything else. So we know this is right. So we can measure things along this line. And then once we get things in, we can tell, just like Sandra said, hey, wait, where do the eyes relate? Where are the eyes in relation to to the eye, to the ear? Where is this, the end of this body in relation to the eye? And you don't really, I like to think of it as like taking things apart and putting them back together again, you know, like constructing and reconstructing. So we're less thinking about this as a panda, and we're more thinking about this as interlinked dark and light shapes that we are playing around with to try and get light. I'm waiting for this to dry before we go on to the next step.
And it's interesting because at one stage I moved an eye and it still wasn't right. So then I realized it was the other eye that had to move.
Right. It's like you think it's the one thing, it's often what's next to the thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's so funny.
Yeah, so for the background, did you also use just black and white?
Yes, yeah, just black and white, just a slightly darker version, right? So that my little panda can pop out.
By the way, Leah, it's a watercolor question, but
yes,
I never know whether to do in watercolor. Some people do the background first and some people do it last.
You know, I take it time by time. I look at where the white spaces are and I work around those. So that is generally, you'll see. I mean, and I'm not sure I'm the best person to ask because I don't,
because you think more like an acrylic.
Yeah, I think more like an acrylic painter. So I kind of build up my darks, work around my lights, and then from there. So sometimes I was just thinking though, I normally kind of go to the subject first and try to get
I think
lights and darks. But I don't know, like I'm working on a commission right now for this underwater city, and I can see that I probably need to add the sky, well, not the sky, but the water that looks like the sky in first. I can see that I need to add those in to make sure I have my shapes right. So I'll send you a picture of that at the end of class so you can see what I'm talking about. I have a very sort of loose red outline on black of all the buildings and where I want them to be. And it's a very dense city, but there are these light areas. And I feel like right now, if I don't establish that by using my sky, I'm not going to be able to paint the buildings. Like I need those lights to be able to balance off my darks. So sometimes I think there are some people who always start with the background. In general, I'm a believer the background should go into your painting about 2/3 of the way through your painting.
That's what I do. In pastels, I know exactly when it has to go, but in watercolor, but
it's the same.
I think the background is less important in watercolor because even if you don't put a background, it works, right? They call it a vignette or something.
Actually, now that you're saying that, and thank you for getting me thinking like watercolor. Yes, watercolor is better with more white space. So I have found when I try to do with an acrylic painting what I do with watercolor, if I try to do the same subject in watercolor, if I add too much background, it actually ruins the painting. It's better to leave more spaces with no paint on them. And that is a hard thing for me to do. So I think I can show you guys, I think I've shown you guys the sort of failures, my failures last year where I overpainted, right? Like I overpainted.
No,
so actually, Sandra, now that I think about it, and now that you've reminded me of that, I think it's even more important not to paint in the background.
Okay.
Because you might have areas of the background that you'll want to leave with no paint on them. So
and not only that, I found that the background, some people at the end, they put the background like it's a flower. And even if you overlap a bit on a painting, it's not a big thing.
No, I just think I think watercolor strokes are so beautiful on their own that like they need less supporting them. Then like they just need less support. Like they need to be sort of showcased with like more white. That is one thing I have learned. So yeah, but I mean, then again, I don't do it every day. I'm sure there are watercolorists who do that. And that's why, like I'm really enjoying watching Marie teach you guys. I taught her everything she quote unquote knows about pastels. She didn't do any pastels before she worked with me, and she really resisted them at first. Now she loves them and she's teaching them, but she doesn't teach like me. She does not teach like me at all. I love watching her process, her decision-making. Oh, Natalia, that's great. That's great. Good, Ani.
I was wondering, because this is only black. The white spots, I left them. I didn't use white paint. That's okay.
Oh, I like it. Yeah, that's great. You just made it more watery. Yeah, it works.
Yep. Okay.
You did it. You did it. That's great. It's great. You're gonna love watercolor.
That's great, Natalia.
Yeah, you're gonna love watercolor. That is really
it actually looks like watercolor.
Yeah, it does. But her mark making always looks like watercolor. All right, so I'm actually gonna take a hair dryer to this because I would like it to dry faster than it is. And I can't do the next step until this dries. So hang on. I have my trusty hair dryer out. Oops, hold on.
I've done a super rough sketch too. Super rough.
Oh, it looks great, Annika.
You guys, unfortunately, I cannot go later than 10 today. Sorry, I can't go past the hour today. So if we don't finish this, I'm happy to, wait a minute. Where's my, where are you? Oh, 1 minute. So I'm actually coming in with my watercolor. Listen, hair does not get dried with this thing in my house. This is all we use it for. Come on, dry, 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 dry.
I'm seeing that a lot in watercolor videos.
Yeah, this dry to get things to go dry
because
faster.
You can't touch an area until it's dried.
And it dries fast, but like you get impatient even with that. Like acrylic dries fast. If I had 10 more minutes to wait, but we only have like a little bit more than like 35 minutes, and I want to be able to get to some paint mixing and strokes. By the way, I'm going to tell you guys, you do not have to stick with the colors of this bear. You can pick whatever colors you want for your top layers, as long as the values match. I want to really encourage you to be creative, but if we want to go into the colors, I'll probably work with the colors today just to see if there's any mixing.
It's got such gorgeous colors, though.
It does, yeah, but I don't know. This bear would look adorable blue.
Yes, probably.
I'm just saying. All right, so I think he is dry enough to go to the next layer. So you've heard me talk about glazing. You've seen me forget to glaze.
Yes, we have.
Now I'm going to show you kind of, and so with a grisaille, sorry, I'm saying that totally like
I'm not even sure that's the right word.
Grisaille.
What is it? It's grisaille.
I hope. Oh, good.
It is.
It's a painting term.
Because it also means grisaille, that, you know, the gray sky, it also means that.
The gray sky. Oh, nice.
I mean, like grisaille, you know, like gray weather.
Yeah. Like the sort of gray day, a gray day. Such a great, I love French. It's got such wonderful, every language has all its great descriptions, but I was just listening. One of my best friends was telling me about a Cameroonian scholar she listened to. The Cameroons in Africa has an amazing intellectual tradition that goes back centuries. And their scholars are kind of known for being really intellectually powerful in a way that has a lot of depth. And she was saying that he was talking about people as actually being incomplete. And there was a whole like description around where I was like, oh my God, that's like so right. Okay, so hang on, I'm gonna get back to this. So glazing, why do we glaze? We glaze for a lot of reasons. We glaze to unify. We glaze to add texture. We glaze to push something more warm or more cool. So this is kind of a coolish or neutral painting right now. I'm going to take some green. And you're allowed to take any color you want. And you're allowed to glaze as much as you want. And I want you to, here, hold on. I'm going to pop up my, let me get my other camera on so you can see my thing. Here we are. Okay, I'm going to add my other. Right, so you can see, darn it, here. I got this positioned right yet. Okay, so you can see my paintbrush. No, you can't. Give me 1 second. What can I prop this up with? Ah, this. So you can see my, my painty water here. I'm going to get a lot of water on this brush and I am not going to wipe it off. I want this to be very watery. And now I'm coming over here to my color and I'm going to pick up just enough color so that I don't have it on my, I don't really have visible like paint lumps on my canvas. I just have this kind of watery color. And then I'm going to go across my whole painting so that I'm doing a kind of watery layer. Look at how that changes the painting. I did the green because I'm going to go back over with reds on the top and I thought I'd like some green on my base. So you see how the glaze kind of falls into the cracks in the painting, you know, the marks that you've already made. It pushes some things back and makes them darker. Diana was really struggling with her raccoon paws yesterday, not because she hadn't painted the shapes correctly, but that they were too bright and coming forward. So all she did was glaze, put a little purple glaze on these yellow subjects. And it pushed them back. It sort of toned them a little bit darker. So you can glaze pieces of a painting, you can glaze whole parts of a painting. But I like to try this Gadasai method and then put a color over the top. So as you can see, I'll take a picture of it so you can really see it in its full glory. Nice, Diana. I like that color background. You can see it's got little textures on it. So Diana, you might try a red or an orangey glaze on top just to like, before you get started.
Okay.
On your painting, just to give it a little bit of texture. And then you can wait for it to dry or not. Now I'm going to go back to our original picture. I'm sorry, I don't have a color picture on the screen for you. So that's why I will start mixing with these colors. But if you're just watching this, go to the thread, the class thread, to find this little red guy. To me, I see definitely burnt sienna. I'm gonna actually, I've made a whole mess of this palette. I'm gonna put it over here and put up a clean palette sheet so I can talk to you a little bit about mixing. And then we're only gonna have a few minutes for actual descriptions of paint brush marks. So you guys may not, and then I'm gonna have to leave you at 10, I'm so sorry. 10 o'clock my time. Here we go. All right. So for our colors, I see for sure, I think burnt umber and burnt sienna are gonna be helpful. Burnt umber. Burnt sienna. I'm definitely gonna suggest you put a little cadmium red on your, and as well, a sort of warm red. And some white. Here, hold on. We've got white here. I've got a little bit of cadmium red. You're going to want a little cadmium yellow. thinking. There's my burnt sienna. Here's burnt sienna. You're going to want a little bit of ultramarine blue to darken, to create mixes, dark mixes. There's my blue. Yeah, everything's all messed up right now. Okay. Here we are. What other color? Ultramarine blue, cad red, yellow. You might want a little bit of yellow ochre if you've got it too. Yellow ochre might be useful here. So I'm looking at this and I'm kind of trying to decide the range of colors I might need. Put that there.
I must say I'm really a big fan of yellow ochre.
It's a wonderful color.
Really enjoying
I cannot live without yellow ochre.
Yeah, that is very, Jessica, that is the Zorn palette coming out in you, I feel. Yellow ochre.
I just think, well, any earth color, any of the earth colors. Like
they're
if somebody
beautiful.
said to me, if you have to give up your bright chromatics or your earths, I'll give up the bright chromatics.
Yeah, you can mix in the...
Oh, my favorite.
Well said.
Any earth color. I need my earths.
Where is my, now I'm looking for my, here it is, okay. Let's put a little yellow ochre down. Yellow ochre is a kind of, yes, a neutral, if you can see the difference between them. This is cad yellow, that's yellow ochre. Huge difference. Is there anything else we need right now? I'm gonna guess no. If we need it, we'll add it. Okay, so as I'm looking at this picture, I think the top of him is kind of orangey. You can try mixing that in a couple ways. You can mix cad red and cad yellow and maybe a little bit of ochre. See how that, oh, that's not bad, at least as a start. I want a little bit more yellow in. I might go over with a different color variation on top, but I like this. Now notice how I'm laying my, oh wait, here, you don't need that. Well, I guess you can watch me paint too from this other angle. You definitely want this kind of bright orangey layer. Notice it's a little bit dark on this layer, that's okay. You can get this orange down and then later go back in with a lighter, with more yellow. And then I'm really noticing that this comes down in a jowl like this, kind of comes down and around like that. It comes down to sort of the top of the eyes. And here, and it comes to about here. So notice I'm still laying interesting. And it comes in on top, sort of under the eyes too, but it's darker. So you might add a little bit of burnt umber in where it comes under the eyes. Your darker fur that's in the shadow, I would use ultramarine blue, burnt sienna, and a little bit of burnt umber to get that darker color in. Make sure you get enough blue in to make it dark. So you'll notice I'm still just kind of establishing colors and laying them down. I'm not really focused. I'm thinking about the brush work. I'm doing a lot of horizontal strokes, right?
For the fur.
Yeah, for the fur. And I'm using, it's really helpful for me to use my big brush at this point. So I'm coming right up to the edge of the lights, but I'm not really meeting them yet. And I'm gonna do that for I'm gonna just do another layer of this sort of orangey dark down here. I haven't laid in my lights yet. I've laid in my medium tones. And my light tones. And I'll be happy to repeat these color mixes for you. And then the light is really, I think, white with just a touch of the orange. Just a touch. I know it looks a little bit dark. You can lighten it on the top layers. So now I'm really trying to get the light in, and you'll notice because I've laid down my darks, they're still wet, I can use that kind of soft edge brush stroke, right? So when I'm working with fur, once again, I'm not trying to paint every fur I see. I'm working the edge where the light meets the dark. So I'm kind of trying to drag my brush over to create a little bit of fur texture. Now I may not get it all on this like go round. I'm using the edge here. Yeah, and all of this is being done with a big brush, interestingly. So see, I'm kind of brushing out, I'm creating this sort of soft edge of my light into my dark. Up here, it's a slightly harder edge. And there is a little bit of a dark, my arm is tired. I'm holding it up along with this. The edge is soft here, but a little bit harder on the ear. And there's a little dark part. I'll go back and add it in later. I'm gonna bring down my light over here. This is kind of a harder edge, but down here it's softer. Yeah. I might need to go to a smaller brush. And in fact, I think I will. All right, give me a second here. And I know that there's a little dark, there's a little triangle of dark, which I'm gonna get by mixing burnt sienna and burnt umber and ultramarine blue. There's a little dark triangle here with a hard edge. So see, I'm doing that with a little, just so. And there's a similar thing happening, although it's more orange over here. Whoops, that's too dark. So I'm going back in with kind of a dark orangey color here. I'm gonna go in with my light here. Now I'm using the small pointy brush. Oops, that's too pointy. Sorry, that's too small. I was wondering why I wasn't getting what I wanted out of that here. Wrong brush. Nope, not the right brush. Where are you? Correct brush. Ah, this is my favorite brush to use. It's kind of biggish for a small brush. You'll notice I rarely go super small. I mean, I have a super small brushes that I use for detail work, but we rarely get to that place here in this class because we're still working our bigger areas. So I'm bringing it down in here. I'm bringing that white. This is mostly white with a little bit of orange in it. Up here. Once again, I'm kind of fuzzing out that edge. It's probably a little too much. I'll go back in and fix it later. There's a funny little white eyebrow over the top of each eye, each dark eye. And then let's see, for the tongue, I'm gonna mix cadmium red, yellow ochre, a touch of blue, and some white to create a more flesh colored tongue. It's a little bit on the red side. So if you wanted to pull out some quinacridone rose, you could, some cool, I'm not gonna bother because I don't have time. I wanna get through this and show you guys as much as possible. But if you wanted to, and I'll just add more white to that for the side. And then it gets darker, so more blue in that mix as we get down here, even more blue, so that we can get the shadow of the tongue kind of in here. It's a little bit darker in the mouth. Aw, cutie pants. I'm going back in with the dark to kind of, I lost a little bit of my nose. So I'm going back in with my light now to get the bottom part of the nose, which is dark. The top part of the nose is lighter, so I'm adding light, sort of a gray color in on the top. It's kind of bluey, shiny white, actually. Let's see if I can get that. And it's darker, definitely darker than what's around it, but lighter. Mm-hmm. And then I can add, and he's got little whisker. Wait, here is just kind of a dark line here on the edge of the tongue coming down there. And then we can add in the little whisker lines. I know I'm going super fast. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get as much in as possible. The whiskers will add using the same technique we did with the wildflowers. You're going to use a little bit of your brush bristles, like, you know, little tiny. And notice, by the way, this is dry, so I can come back in with just plain cad yellow and a little bit of red to get lighter up here. See? Nice. So when you're doing your fur, I want you to really work your edges. The fur texture, just like we've done trees, just like we did wildflowers. I think a bigger brush is better in terms of giving you that feeling of fur. Eyes. So if you look at this animal's eyes really closely, you'll see that the darkest part of the eye is kind of around the outside edge. Yes, the top kind of outside edge. Inside that is a kind of a orangey color that's a little bit lighter. So I'm doing that with burnt sienna, just right over the top here. There's a lighter line, kind of a tiny little white line here. And then there are these kind of white reflective edges. I can dot them in here. See how that makes his eye pop out? And if I feel those are too strong, I can go back in and darken around. Notice also, that this sort of dark corner of this eye is also much darker. So there's another variation kind of happening here, but in a smaller way. It's dark around the edge. There's a little bit of brown in the middle. There's a white lid. A tiny reflective edge. See how he's starting to come out?
Yeah.
I'm going to show you really quickly, and then I'm going to start looking. So
Yeah.
you already have been taught the brush strokes that you need for this panda. Remember, take for the whiskers, which will be the last thing you'll do. You're going to squeeze here. Let's see, squeeze your a couple of bristles in between your thumb and your pointer finger, like that. You're going to scoop up some white so that you don't have much control over where it lands. And this is how you're going to add in your whiskers. And if you feel like they're too bright, you can glaze them, like glaze them a darker color afterwards, so they still show up as light. See how the whiskers can very easily kind of be added in. So this will be the last thing you'll do. Oh, he's really damn cute. Thank you for providing this photo, Olga. This guy is stinking cute. All right, so I want to spend the last 15 minutes. Rashmi, your drawing looks good now. You got it. Don't worry, you got it. You fixed it. It's good, and you should go on. Let's see, Anik, very nice. Okay, so Anik, now start adding in kind of like pay attention to these edges. So right now your edges are very sharp.
Yes, they are.
So now your job is to, and I would mix a little bit more blue in with your top layers of your orange here, just because they still look a little bit bright and you want to kind of push those back a little bit. Nice. Yeah. Just now sort of, so you want to like soften this edge here, right?
Yes.
Good job.
Thank you.
Yes.
Leah, when will you upload this video? I just wanted to go through the color palette once again. So that
yeah. Actually, I will take pictures of it and send it over right now. Let me do that. Where's my marker? All right, here we go. So I've got, everything seems to be covered with, you know what, I'm just gonna, well, it helps to be able to see the picture. Wait, that's not working. Let me get a marker that actually works. You work, okay. Burnt umber, burnt sienna, cad red, cad yellow, ochre, ultramarine blue, and white. Here, I'll take a picture of this so you've got it, along with the colors. Let me do that. And then I'll start looking at your stuff. But you guys are starting to look good. Annika, I'm going to take a look. So Annika, this area has some, bring in, here, hold on. Let me do one thing at a time. I see somebody's work and then I'm like, oh, what's going on there? And I stop thinking about what I'm doing. There we go. Okay, so Annika, I would say this is looking pretty good. Oh, Diana, that's looking pretty good.
I'm running out of paint. So
yeah, stop it, kitty, get off. Come on. Poor guy, he's so bored. So Annika, this white area here is a little bit too big. It has an edge of yellow, of orange, kind of around the outside edge. So if you can get that orange in and minimize that white a little bit, I think it'll help. It's looking good though. And also the paint is looking kind of thin. So I think you should use less water on your next layers and more paint. So use less water and more paint so that you have kind of a thicker, richer like color like this.
Yeah.
So, but you know, all layers help. So here, I'm gonna send you guys this so you can see it. Good job. I know you're losing. What? Uh-oh, hold on. No. Nuh-uh. Whoops. Normally, I do not have Hermes in here during this class because he gets too hyper. Come here, buddy. Come up and say hello to everybody.
But we'd like to see him.
Yes, come up. Come up. Come up. Come up. He's like, I only want to.
He knows he's the star.
Yes, I only want to do this if I can mess up mommy's computer. I hate mommy's computer. I hate that square thing. Here we go. Oh, yeah, now he's running. Come here, boo-boo. Come here, boo.
Aw,
Oh yeah, he's too riled up right now. He won't let me pick him up. Maybe he'll come over in the next. So I'm so sorry, you guys. I realized I have a meeting, an actual meeting at 10:15. So we're going to end this class in 10 minutes. But I am available if you're working and you're still struggling with this, right? Because I know I went through this fast. So, so this mix for the top, whoops, yes. This mix for the top, I use cadmium red, cadmium yellow, and a bit of ochre. This mix, I mixed the dark parts of the fur, I mixed burnt umber, burnt sienna, and ultramarine blue. The darks of the eyes are basically burnt umber and ultramarine blue. And then I put some burnt sienna on top of the dark in the eyeball to make that, because it's slightly less dark. And then white. And the whites have a little bit of, oh, and the tongue is cadmium red, yellow ochre, ultramarine blue, and some white. And for the shadow of the tongue, you just add more blue into that mixture. I can even write those down. Let's see. Oh yeah, Natalia. So Natalia, so make this a little bit, so work on this orange here. So you've lost a bit of the white here. So you want to capture that back.
Yeah.
And really, so right now your whites are sitting very globby on top of your darks. You want there to be a softer transition here. So work on.
I need it to dry a bit.
Well, or you need to make this wet and then blend your white over into your dark. So you don't have to necessarily wait till it dries. Oh, Anik, coming along. So Anik, notice so there is a dark line that goes right next to the tongue, kind of leading up to the nose. That's actually happening if you look at it here. Actually, really, it's kind of dark underneath the nose. And then there's these little spots for his whisker things. So right now, this is reading as a little bit too light, and you need to get the variations that are in. And Anik, I still feel like your colors are looking kind of globby, less soft. So you really want to work on that those soft edges, which means both sides should be dark, right? Should be wet. You can kind of blend your light edges into your dark ones. And I think you need maybe a little bit less water too. Anyway, you guys, I'm not meaning to pick on you. It's great painting. It's coming along. I know I went through this one fast. Would anybody like me to send over the tongue colors, since that's very different from everything else?
You said quick red, I think.
Here, I'm going to say, so using what's there, tongue colors. It's basically skin tone colors, cad red, yellow ochre. Touch of blue. And white.
That permanent rose as well, right?
You could use permanent rose, or you could just use what's on your. You could use permanent rose, or you could just use what's on your canvas, which is cad red. Yeah, I'm just trying to keep it simple with the colors, you know, the basic color palette that we've got there, and that's the only thing you really need that cad red, that permanent red for. So I was like, yeah, let's just use cad red. More blue for the tongue. Shadows. Oh, that's starting to look good. Emma, nice. So Emma as well. So you guys can see that there's kind of a, I think this is going to help everybody actually. I'm going to have you all glaze this top part purple. So let me see if I can do that before we go. I'm just going to mix blue and a little bit of cad red, even though I know that makes a kind of yucky purple, I'm still going to do it. Here. I feel like everybody's getting kind of too light on the forehead. So you can see here, I'm glazing this a little bit darker with a purple color. And then I'm going to go in with my cad red and my yellow on the top. Here. And I'm going to kind of drag. So I'm mixing cad red and yellow ochre and a little bit of white on the top, and I'm gonna drag these through so that you can see little bits of the dark. So I want this to be I want my glaze to be very watery, but then I want this top layer to be drier. What I really need is more cad yellow. All right, you guys, I want you to keep working. I'm obviously not going to be able to finish this painting with you. Normally I would be able to, but not today. So see how I'm letting some of that dark. So I'm kind of mixing, but not thoroughly mixing, and I'm kind of tapping in over the darks. So I have a feeling more of light, dark fur. So on my brush, you can actually see bits where the light, the red, and the white and the yellow haven't mixed together. I haven't blended them so much. So when I drag my brush across, I have little light, medium, and dark, sort of light, medium, and darker edges. So that has that feeling of the fur.
You're fast, Leah.
Yes, today I have to be fast. I have like I said, I have an important meeting and I cannot miss it. So that is kind of a texture trick. Most of you, I think, are going to need to glaze back with a little bit of blue and red to darken, again, your top. And then add your lights, but let some of that dark base come through. Nice, Diana. I'm so sorry, you guys. I'm going to take one last picture. I'm going to say hello. I'm going to, that's where it is right now. Yeah, take your pictures. I will take a look at them and keep sending them in. Hold on, I'm going to remove all spotlights. There we go. All right, I want to see everybody in gallery view today. So you guys are well on your way to doing this portrait. You're all doing great. So and if I missed anything, because I had to end a little bit, you know, I had to end on time rather than extending, don't worry, I will review that stuff next week before we go on to our next lesson. But I wanted to once again say how grateful I am for all of you and how excited I am for Sandra's healing journey. We are just so happy for you. It's so wonderful. So enjoy painting your little pandas. with the little tongue sticking out. Feel the joy of moving the paint around. Don't be so worried about the final product. Really enjoy. Everybody's already in the ballpark. So even if you can't get this perfect, really enjoy the miracles of today.
That was a great phrase. And
right?
first,
Enjoy this miracle. Let's experience and love the way the brush is brushing back and forth.
Learn how to accept, because it's one of the things that cancer brought me is learn how to accept help and good things.
Sandra, here he is one more time. Hi.
Hi,
Sandra, I can't wait for my portrait. He's massive. I can't wait for my portrait. Oh, and there he goes.
Julia, do you want to say hi?
Let's say, I gotta go quick. I gotta go. So bring her quick.
Okay.
All right.
Bye, Leah. Thank you.
Bye, you guys. See you soon.
Bye.
See you tomorrow. Hope I see you all. Bye-bye. Great work.